Welcome to the Sister Lining, shining a light on millennials. Hi, I'm Carolyn.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Elaine.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Alyssa. Today we'll be talking about mentors. We'll be discussing what a mentor is, what the characteristics of the mentors we want, and also any interesting mentor stories. So, Carolyn, do you have any ideas what a mentor is?
Yeah, I think a mentor is someone that you aspire to be, or like, for example, you are in your current career and say you want to be a director of finance or something. So you would look to that person to see how they got there and their experiences. So it's kind of like an inspiration. Like, say, in 10 years, you want to be the director. So that person would be your mentor. But I feel like they don't necessarily need to be in your direct career field as well. Like, for example, say you are thinking of doing like a career change and you see, because I know I've seen someone that I look inspired to be kind of is Stephen Lim from Worth It, because I know he used to have like a stable like engineering job, and then he changed his career to work in BuzzFeed, to doing the Worth It episodes. So he had like that career change. So I feel like if you're someone that's looking for a career change, like, and looking for inspiration, I feel like that could also be a mentor, just to see like how he got there and why he decided what he did. So I feel like a mentor could be someone like that also. Yeah.
So you're saying that you can find a mentor online, right? I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if I could like direct message him and then ask him, I would definitely want him as my mentor. Yeah.
Gonna slide in.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah, I definitely agree, because I feel today's time we spend more time on our computers and we read a lot of social feeds either on LinkedIn or Instagram. So I would say a lot of us are more influenced by what we read and what we watch on our cell phones or laptops. So for me, I think my mentors, some of them are mentors, would be people I follow on YouTube. I'm not going to go and discuss who I follow on YouTube, but or you can find them at networking events. And a good place to find networking events is either through meetup.com or through your old university network. And here in Pasadena, there's a meetup on Friday mornings. And Elaine and I have been to several of those sessions. I would say the people that they have speaking there are super inspirational. So that is an example where you can meet some mentors.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree. I've been to a number of events and panels where I find it very inspirational to hear the several panelists talk about their careers. And then after the panel, I go up to them and I just tell them, hey, you were really inspirational, and then form a connection that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes in networking events too, you just go around the room and you just introduce yourself, or they introduce themselves to you, and then you meet them, and then you have and then for some of them, you form a really great rapport, and then it just kind of the connection and relationship builds organically that way. Sometimes it's a professional relationship. And then sometimes it's that mentor-mentee relationship. And then they're through several professional organizations. I've also, some of them have mentorship programs, and I've actually applied for a few of them. And actually, for one of the organizations, someone reached out to me to be their mentor.
Wow. Do you girls feel like when you're in a networking event, do you feel like there's certain body language you can look at when you can tell somebody will be willing to be your mentor? Is there some body like positioning or like facial expression that you
I
think?
think if they're really their body language as far as they're pointed towards you, they seem very interested in what you're saying. And also if they're smiling and if they're nodding or if they're agreeing or if they continue to ask questions, that means they're invested in learning more about you.
Exactly. And I would say people who are like more disengaged looking, people who will look at another direction when they're supposed to be talking to you. That's, first of all, that's rude. Okay. And second of all, they're probably not going to be your mentor. And no matter how successful they are, it's just smarter for you to, you know, look elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a really good point too, actually. In one of the networking events, a lady who I really admire, and I really admire her career, and she was also a UCLA alumni. I asked her what advice she would give me, and then she literally told me to go up to people and ask them, "Will you be my mentor?"
Oh.
Me to do that. And I was like, okay, so I listened to her. And then it didn't really work out well for me because some of them were really not interested in being mentors.
Oh my gosh, I totally disagree with that. I don't think you can just say, "Can you be my mentor?"
It's too direct.
It's very weird. It's like in kindergarten, "Hey, can you be my friend?"
But I think that in some cases being direct works, because if you beat around the bush, you might be too scared to ask them, and then they probably won't get the hint. Some people, they need questions, so they'll be like, "Okay, let's do it," you know?
Okay.
I think after you develop that rapport, right? Because I wouldn't like right away, "Hi, will you be my mentor?"
Yeah, that's what she made it seem like for me to do.
So did you like, say like 5 minutes?
Is that what you did, Amy? Did you just, "Hi, I'm Elaine. What's your name? Will you be my mentor, please?"
Yeah.
Like you phrased it like that?
Okay, like I did, like of course I try to build some sort of rapport first, but I feel like there should be a little bit more of that connection building before I ask. So I think I asked that direct question a little bit prematurely for some people. Maybe like one, I think I can remember one specifically, and then I can't remember if it was more than one, but definitely one situation where the other person was a little bit like, oh, like didn't really know how to respond, I guess.
Yeah.
Like wasn't expecting it or didn't know how to respond at that point, or wasn't ready for that. I don't know. Like, cause I mean, I guess like sometimes like Alyssa was saying in our conversations previously, that just our own conversations, that people are really busy. You know, mentors are really busy, or potential mentors are really busy, and sometimes they have kids. Sometimes, you know, they have to take kids to the school in the morning. They have to family obligations that they have to balance, and you just, you know, gotta be respectful of their time as well.
Yeah, I think.
And sometimes maybe they want to be a mentor, but like they just can't because of their time constraints and other responsibilities.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything personal.
Yeah, and I think in this day and age, because everyone's so busy, so let's answer the second question. Why is having a mentor important? And I guess the other question is, do you feel that having a mentor is important or not important?
Yeah, so I'll start off.
Idea?
So I think it's important to have a mentor because if you're feeling lost or you don't know what to do in your career, if you want to switch or you just want to advance yourself, sometimes you're like, what do I do next? Like, you don't know and you're just lost and you might be stuck in a rut. I feel like that's where a mentor can step in that sense and give you an extra push and just give you a different view on things. And they're probably more experienced in your career field, or as Carol mentioned, it doesn't have to be someone in the same career field if someone's trying to switch into a different field, but they can lead you in the right direction. And I think it's someone that you feel comfortable talking and sharing your ideas. So you want to have a mentor-mentee relationship just so it doesn't feel super forced or like awkward and you don't want to share your ideas or just talk about what's really important to you, especially if you like you don't know what to do. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I feel like having people that you talk to outside of your field, especially, can expand your view. I remember when I was trying to go to law school, I spent a lot of time studying for the LSAT, and I was like all day, every day, LSAT, studying before work, waking up at 5 before I go to the office. I was obsessed. But then once I started going to more networking events and then talking to other people who had nothing to do with law, I was like, wait, I don't have to do this. Why am I doing this to myself? So now I'm totally doing something different. And I totally do not regret my decision.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you feel a mentor helped you realize that?
For me, it wasn't one person specifically. I think it's just a combination of a lot of people and everyone else. And yeah, that's what made me decide to change. And Michelle, you're in school right now. So how did you make that change to becoming a physical therapist?
Oh, occupational therapy? Yeah. So I think it's a good point that you made in having a mentor that is not directly in your, I guess, career objective or where you want to go, because it opens your eyes to other possibilities. And I guess in a way that's kind of what happened to me, because when I did my volunteering experiences, I kind of had mentorship experience by having people that I shadowed. They were occupational therapists, and they kind of did help me along my application process and applying to school. They helped me write letters of recommendation. They kind of taught me the ropes of what it's like to be an OT. So that was really helpful. So I want to circle back to actually the first question, how we were talking about mentors and how they're really busy. But I can also see it on the other side of the spectrum, in which mentors sometimes are very established, right? So they have a lot of years of experience, and some of them might even be retired. So retired people, they typically have a lot of time in their hands. And so they're very receptive to the idea of having mentorees, because it's an ability for them to give back, give their insight, give their knowledge. So I think asking people that are kind of more older in the, ages of being, retired or even not so, yeah, it would be a good idea. And even if you ask someone and they don't have time, I think they would be very flattered that you asked them. I mean, if I think about it, because in school, I have people reaching out to me randomly in my DMs on LinkedIn asking me about my process of applying to. And when I get those messages, I'm so happy. I'm just like, yes, let me show you everything. Let me tell you, how some tips that I have. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that is really. So, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, should we pause it or?
No, I'm so sorry about that. Okay. And then, so now going to the question of why is it important to have a mentor, right? So in my life, I don't know if you guys can relate, the goal of my life is to always push myself out of my comfort zone, and I think that I don't have a mentor right now, but I feel like having a mentor would kind of be the next step. So you usually hang out around like the same group of people. So you guys have kind of same values, same thinking, stuff like that. But in reaching out to a mentor, you're kind of going out of that circle to 3 degrees of people around you. And it kind of, it makes you grow, because you're doing something that's kind of scary initially because you're not that familiar with them. So, they can offer you a lot of opportunities and stuff that people in your inner circle cannot. So I think that's why it's important to have a mentor. And not only having a mentor, but also why it's important to be a mentor and to give back.
Exactly.
Because people have given you that help in, your career or your life or whatnot. So it's important to give back, because it kind of, the feeling of giving back to people, it's just priceless. So that's why it's important, I think. Sorry for the ramble.
Yeah, I think too.
But it's really good.
Thank you.
To Michelle's point, it's definitely finding that fit. Because some people are too busy, but some people would love to be a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey,
who has any crazy stories
at that time?
Does anybody have any crazy stories regarding mentors and how you found them, for example? I guess I'll start with mine. So a couple years ago, I was getting into a lift. It was around 8:30 in the morning. I was on my way to work. I can't remember why exactly I rode a Lyft to work, but that's how the story goes. Anyway, so I get into the Lyft and I started chatting it up with the driver. I was just telling her that I was getting really frustrated in my job search, and she was telling me that she was starting a business. And I was so, happy for her. I was like, oh, congratulations on your new business. And we're just chatting. And while we're chatting, she actually had a brother who was in the field that I wanted to, start in, which is real estate finance. And then she gave me his phone number. And then I ended up messaging him. And then, yeah, this mentor, he helped me out. We met up probably 8 times, and he helped me revise my resume, give me tips, and took me to networking events. It was really quite something. Although ultimately I didn't want to do real estate finance, I would say you never know who you're going to meet, even on the Lyft ride.
That's a great story, Alyssa.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then once I guess finding a mentor really just depends on the person and the individual, whether or not they're a good fit and whether or not they'll have time. But I know that one of the things to keep that relationship going and that connection going is just to update them, just every so often. For example, for me, like I would be like, oh, hey, I did this story on NBC Asian America, and here's the link to the story, and I would send them stories every so often. Oh, here's what I'm up to, and here's my new story, and they would be like, oh, great, proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, for me, I think going back on how we're saying how we can meet mentors, I know right now, we're in quarantine, coronavirus, so we have to be creative in ways of trying to find mentorship. And I think now, which is great because a lot of different sites like Meetups, I believe now has like virtual chats or virtual meetings like we're doing right now, where you could actually network with people or talk to people, similar backgrounds or different backgrounds, and just getting everyone's perspective. And I think at this time, that's also very helpful because we also have more time to do that. And I think for me, that's something that I did during this time because I was like, hey, like I really wanted to connect with other people, learn more about others, and just like have a bigger network and learn more about myself, what I want, and just hearing what others have to share or offer for me or what I can offer to them. So I kind of did that on LinkedIn. I was curious, like I looked around on my LinkedIn and, I was like doing some reading of articles about things that interested me. And, I always was interested in design. So I was curious just to, learn more about it, just get an overview and background on it. So I reached out to one of my acquaintances. We were college. We went to the same college together, and we didn't talk for years. We didn't have like a close relationship, and I thought that was fine. I was kind of just messaging anyone, seeing if anyone was willing to give their knowledge and talk to me over the phone or just any form of communication and share what they know, and I could share my experience as well. So I feel like I got lucky. I reached out to one of these girls that I just mentioned, and we connected on the phone, and we just kind of had like a nice conversation going for about an hour. And I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, maybe it's just a one-time thing. She did give me good background in design. I don't know if it's going to continue, if it's going to develop into a mentorship. But what really happened was she ended up reaching out to me again. She's like, oh, hey, like, how's it going? And
wow.
Yeah, I know she ended up reaching out to me, and she just wanted to hear my perspective on certain things from someone that wasn't in the same field or background. And then we connected again. And then that's when she mentioned to me, she's like, hey, like I'm doing this whole thing. Like I explored on Twitter, like this other designer had office hours. And I was thinking, hey, like I actually want to mentor people. I was thinking about doing office hours. Would you be interested? And I was like, wow, like I've never had someone actually ask me that. And basically, she was offering her knowledge and becoming my mentor. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to be mentored by you, just learning from you and just hearing about your experiences. I thought that'd be great as well. So we've connected, and I signed up for office hours. She has a schedule, and yeah, we connected again. And really, she provides me with all these resources, free resources, or just anything that she recommend. I didn't actually have to do it, but she was just recommending them to me, and I have the power to decide, oh, okay, what I want to do. And but I really appreciated that she's guiding me in that direction, or just really giving me useful resources so that I could take it up a notch, to take it to the next step, and really research or do the legwork on my own.
Yeah. Wow, look at you, Elaine.
Yeah,
You're using
probably,
time
Elaine.
very wisely. Double
Wonderful.
Guys.
Yeah, one of my mentors is from the Los Angeles City College. She's a journalism professor, and I took a few classes there. And then we developed a great relationship, mentor-mentee relationship. She taught me so many things, and she gave me a lot of tips and pointers, especially with my writing. And then we kept that relationship years and years later. And then now I'm serving on the LACC Journalism Advisory Board. She invited me to go back and give advice, and some of the new trends and technology and tips that she should teach her students for the future.
Wow.
That's kind of like she gave the torch to you. Like, I mentored you, now you get to mentor someone else.
Yeah.
Cool.
So kind of like full circle moment there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's just go over exactly what we do to find a mentor, what to look for, and also what types of questions we should ask them. So I guess number one, you should look for somebody who is even responsive and wants to talk to you with open body language, right?
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And then number two, your mentor doesn't have to be one person or one specific industry. It can be many different people. It can be many different resources, even online or books, or any different type of. It can be from any different source. And number three, try not to ask them, don't be thinking aloud with them. When you ask them something, just ask them how they did it, and very slightly ask them how they can guide you. But I don't think it's good to give different scenarios, different questions, bombarded all at once. Just take it easy.
Yeah.
Any other input?
Yeah, I was just thinking, there can be there's pros and cons, and my different experiences with mentorships. And then one of them, I was so grateful for her because we actually met her at a panel event, and just asked her about her career. And then she was so nice to meet me for coffee and just talk to me about her career. And then eventually down the line, I applied for a job at her company, and then she went to talk to the hiring manager directly and gave me her personal recommendation of me. And so that was so nice of her. I'm so grateful for her. And then there have been other experiences where the mentor just wasn't that, the relationship wasn't that organic. And I met the mentor, I met him once and we spoke once. And after that, whenever I tried to make contact with him, I wasn't able to, I didn't get any response. So there's just, there's all these different kind of dynamics with mentors. And then I've also had mentors that, mentees that reached out to me to be their mentor. And I always make sure to tell them if I'm not available at the moment, then that way they'll understand or expect, know what to expect if they don't hear back from me. So I just want to, have that positive mentor-mentee relationship, and just be accountable to them and treat them the way I want to be treated if I were a mentee. So yeah, those are kind of my overall 2 cents overview of mentorship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we covered a lot today regarding mentors. If you have any questions, just put your comments down below, and please give this video a double thumbs up. Double thumbs up, and please click on the subscribe button. Thank you.
See you next time.
See you next time.
See you next time.